Jewish life for this is my 17th summer here. So I love Jewish camping. I love teaching Judaism and bringing Judaism to life in an experiential way. And so I'm sort of like, my brain is totally at camp mode right now. We had one of our rising 7th graders they learn about tzedakah and giving and how everything's based on Jewish values. And we had a tzedakah fair today where all of the kids donated their leftover trip day money, which was last week. And so they raised $1,200 today for 5 different organizations. So it was a very special day today. So I've lived on Long Island now for 26 years, maybe more than that now, 26 years. I still consider myself a Texan, but I have more of a Long Island accent, I guess. And I am excited to join the community. I was involved with Bethel back in days when I ran the community Hebrew high school. So I know many of the families there, and Florence Rothman taught for me then. And so I feel like a little bit of coming home or rejoining the community. So I'm excited about that. So for me, Jewish education, whether it's here at camp or in the congregation or even Project Understanding, is all about relationships. It's about feeling connected to the Jewish community, both in the synagogue and the greater Jewish community, and really having feeling that positive Jewish identity. I've noticed, I think that's been a big change since COVID, at least amongst my colleagues and I, where we're less focused on exactly how much they're learning and more focused on those relationships and feeling proud to be a Jew, especially with the anti-Semitism and the struggles we're going through today. It's important for them to understand what it means to be Jewish and feel proud of being Jewish. And also to understand that our students are a part of a chain of tradition that goes for many, many years. And I want them to feel strongly about that and understand that as well. I'm excited that for this upcoming year, we're bringing the Shalom Learning curriculum to the school. It's a curriculum I have used at Port Jewish Center for a few years, and it's a values-based curriculum. So our kindergarten through 2nd graders really look at Jewish values through using the 5 senses. I'm a very experiential teacher. I love, to me, providing hands-on learning is the best way to learn. That's the way I learn best. Probably why I like camp so much. So our youngest kids will be using their senses to learn about Jewish values. The neat thing, or the thing I like about Shalom Learning, is that everybody's learning the same values around the same time, but through a different lens. So for our youngest kids, it's through the 5 senses. For our older kids, they're looking at it through different lenses, whether it's family, self, peers, community, or world, depending on what grade you're in. And it's, it really, so we do here at camp, I would say one of the greatest things that we do is each week we introduce a new Jewish value to the campers. And throughout that week, we're teaching about that value, whether they're on the soccer field or in the art room or at tefillah. And we have these bracelets that we give out. So that each week they can earn these bracelets. And like seeing how much they love the Jewish values and how they can really be applicable to their lives. And it makes Judaism more meaningful because it takes a value that is a universal value. It's not necessarily just a Jewish value, but it makes Judaism more meaningful to them. And so I love that about the Shalom Learning, because it really brings, makes it meaningful and relevant. If you all want to, feel free to jump in with questions. I have some notes, but I'm happy to answer questions for you guys. We've talked about a little bit. I know everybody knows that the school is going to be Sundays and Tuesdays. And we've talked about altering the schedule a little bit so that on Sundays, everybody comes from 9:30 to 11:30. And the other thing I've learned is that getting to religious school at 4:30 on Tuesdays was a little bit more difficult based on public school schedules. So we're going to be doing it from 4:45 to 6:15 so that everybody can get there. I'm really excited that Wendy and Jen are on the call, and that they're going to be, I can't wait to meet them and continue talking to them, that they're members of our staff, which I'm excited to learn from them as well. And we're going to kick off the year on September 10th with really a back to school, start the new year, the high holidays, because the way the high holidays fall this year, most of us are not starting our schools till October. It's just like, there's no continuity. It's start, stop, start, stop. So we're going to kick it off on September 10th with a breakfast, activities, everybody to meet me in person, not on the computer. And then really kick off the year beginning of October. So once the holidays are over, but there's obviously there's services and all of that our families will engage in. But I really want to throw it out to you all to see what can what questions you have for me. Yeah.
What date is the first day of school, Lauren?
Well, September 10th, that's Sunday.
Yeah, that's the welcome breakfast. What about
That's the welcome
October?
breakfast, and then hold on, I'm looking at my calendar. October 1st will be the first Sunday.
Perfect. Thank you.
Are there other? Anything?
If you have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and
Please.
just
Hello, good evening. This is Margaret Roche. We have a Schul Cloud conversion underway and we will be live within 2 weeks. And we just want to reach out. I see we got 3 committee members here tonight to say hello, and to Elise as well. We will be wanting to work with you. So just want to get some contact information.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
by the way, everyone, in terms of contacting Lauren, the email address of rsdirector@tbeli is live. It's working, and Lauren is set up on it. So if you have any questions for her or need to contact her at any time, you can use that email address. Again, rsdirector@tbeli.org.
And are you going to be emailing everybody the calendar?
Yes, we're working on that calendar, and yes, I'm gonna get it out.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can I ask where on Long Island you are from? Your history on the island?
Sure. So I live in Dix Hills.
Ooh,
Not too far away. When I started, I was at Temple Beth El in Great Neck. So I lived in Great Neck for a few years, but we've been in Dix Hills. My husband was the rabbi at Temple Beth Torah in Melville. And so when I guess 18 years ago, we were already living in Long Island. So I've been in Dix Hills for over 20 years, 22 years actually. And when my husband got the job in Manhasset, we had just settled in Dix Hills. And I'm like, I need a few years. I've got my support system. Let's see if it works in Manhasset, and then we'll move. But we're still here. We're 18 years later. We're still in Dix Hills. We didn't move out west. So yeah.
I commuted from Manhattan for 34 years.
Oh,
And I made
wow.
up my mind I wanted to retire out here. And boy, it was a great decision. You know, you go for the long run.
So when I moved to New York from Texas, I met my husband, just so you know, I met my husband in Israel at HUC when we were both, I was doing my master's in Jewish education, Jewish communal service, and he was studying for the rabbinate. And I was like, I'll come to New York, but I will not live in the city. And I do not want to commute by train. So I'm used to my cars.
It's murder out here in a car, though. Oh my God.
But
You
I'm used
gotta
to
really have
Texas traffic,
skills.
so Texas traffic was bad too.
Okay.
I'd rather be in a car than on the train.
Yeah, I've seen your highways too, the 18 lanes. That one.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But it's true. The traffic in Houston can sometimes rival parts of New York.
Any other questions or things that I'm not thinking about with the school? And definitely looking forward to learning from all of you as well.
We'll be in touch about Schul Cloud. We're gonna have some, I hope you've heard of it.
I use it at Port Jewish Center, so yes.
Oh, man, maybe you can help us more than we realized.
I don't know. It's complicated.
Well, I'll send you an ID and
Great.
you can work from there. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, how do I do this? Am
Go ahead.
I,
We can
Yeah.
hear you, Maddie.
can you hear me?
Hear you.
Yeah.
As a parent of an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old, last year I was a class mother. What's your thought of your thought for doing that this year? Class mother, or is that what it is? Class.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
year.
I
That
think it's great for one, if not, I love having more parent involvement and connection. I want parents to know what's going on in the school, what
Right.
we're doing and our accomplishments. So I'm thrilled to have class parents.
Okay, I'm also on the religious school committee, and I'd like to do that this year.
Great.
What's your thought about including us and our the religious school committee? How would you like to be a part of helping you out in in this coming year?
I mean, I think
Ideas,
I really have to get in there and see, but I think, one of the, I love a sounding board. I like to work,
Mm.
I'm a collaborative person, so I like to work in partnership with people as a sounding board, bouncing ideas off, support, and then if there, definitely if there are programs and things that we need physical support with, getting parents to come and be involved. I think
Right.
that's a great partnership. I mean, I look at it as a partnership.
Okay.
That is, this is Lynn. I'm actually the co-chair with my husband, who is not here right now, of the religious school committee. We've met before, but yeah, we've been trying to move towards engaging more parents and having the committee help with more things and be more involved. So we like
To me, that's
collaborative.
amazing. So that's one of the challenges I've had at Port Jewish Center, is like really getting parents to come and be involved. And so our religious school committee kind of died. So I'm excited to have, partners and like, a sounding board to like bounce ideas off of, do you think this will work? Will parents go for this? Is this good for the kids? So
Mhm.
I'm excited about that. That's
Okay.
great.
We definitely have a core group of people who come to, or who are like on the committee and do a lot of things. Maddie's one of them. There's Alana and Amy. But anyway, yeah. So, and we're trying to, our hope is that this year we'll be able to get more parents just involved, even if it's only like for just a couple of things. You don't have to come to every meeting, but maybe you want to come to just a couple and help with something.
I've definitely found in everything I do that like people want like a focused thing. They don't want to necessarily come to like lots of meetings, but if you ask them to do a particular job or a program, they're willing to step up and do that. So
Yeah, we just want to bring more families into the building.
absolutely. That's
Mm.
great. So
Mhm.
however I can help, like I definitely want to work together. So
Mhm.
it's great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
I guess I would ask, what is your struggles with bringing more parents into the building? And do you have any suggestions to help us with that? Like right even this, very few parents showed up for this. And it's, I know
So,
it's frustrating.
well, first of all, I feel like it's the middle of summer.
Right.
That's
And, parents, maybe their kids are at camp and they're not, like, they're in a different mode. So I'm thrilled that so many of you did show up. I appreciate that. I have to say, like, I used a number of years ago when I would get upset when like parents wouldn't come and they don't care. But it's really not the truth. And I think even more so since COVID, everybody's juggling everything and trying to, just because their child may dance or play soccer doesn't mean that religious school and Jewish life isn't a priority. They're trying to figure out how to make everything fit into their lives. So, I applaud and welcome whatever they can commit to doing. And, look, at Port Jewish Center, I had parents tell me like flat out, like, we come on Mondays, we give you Mondays, but we're trying to juggle such this, and this. I can't commit to anything else. And you know what? They come on Mondays. and I have 99% attendance, and if it's a family program, they're all there. So like, everybody's just trying to do the best they can. So, I think it's trial and error to see really, and asking them, what is it that they want? What can we provide for them? We want to be there for you, for our families, to make this a priority, but it is a priority, but it's only one of a number of priorities. And we have to accept that and applaud that and celebrate when they are there. So I don't know if I have any concrete ideas yet, but.
So hi, I'm a mom of a seventh grader, soon to
Wow.
be seventh grader. Yeah. And so keeping that in mind, my thing, I try to be involved as much as I can, which isn't that much, but I do the best I can, just like you said,
All you can
trying to
do.
juggle everything. Keeping that in mind, my only request is dates to be well in advance. I like to know what's coming at me before so that I can plan accordingly. So
I'm right
that's
there with
my
you.
request. Yeah.
I like
So-
dates in advance too, so.
Lauren
Yes.
is one of the most organized educators I have ever worked with. She really, she doesn't like, sometimes obviously whether we're working on a program or something at camp, there's a necessity for last minute because changes happen. But, as somebody who is on faculty at camp, I can tell you, Lauren is pumping out information to us so far in advance.
Good.
It's amazing. So, and I know that that's just the way she works.
Yes, and the fact that I don't have next week's schedule for camp is like making me twitch. So I can't be a step ahead of them. So I also like to know ahead. So I will, get a calendar out. And I also don't like, yes, sometimes you have to make changes, but I don't like the back and forth of changing of dates. So hopefully we can avoid that, but as much as possible. So I'm right there with you.
And will there be like a September welcome? Was that the 10th that you were
That's the
speaking of?
September, yeah, the 10th.
So that falls on a Sunday, you said?
Yes.
Yes? Okay,
Yes.
so that's a child, parent,
Parent,
the
child.
whole. Okay, perfect. So that's the
Did you
first
say
thing.
no children or just
Yes,
parents?
children. No, children and parents, family.
Okay.
And that's at 9 a.m., Lauren?
We haven't really set the time yet, but I would say probably 9:30, right? 9:30, 10, yeah.
Consistent with the regular timing.
Yeah, so 9:30.
And will WhatsApp be used as a form of communication? What's your thoughts on that? Because I'll tell you
Great
mine.
question.
No. I personally don't like that as a form of communication. One of my jobs here at camp is I'm responsible for all of our Israeli staff. And to them, I communicate by WhatsApp, but during the year, I really don't use WhatsApp. So the answer is no. If I'm open to suggestions on ways to communicate if, email is not the right way, but I prefer not to use WhatsApp.
Just
Is
wanted to
that
hear
your
your
opinion?
take. I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it, but it's like, well, the people who don't know how to use it, and really, you can't fault them either.
I don't
it's-
find
it's
it easy to use. So,
Oh, it's easy, but you gotta, you can't reply to everyone and everybody getting dings every second.
yes, right.
But
Yeah.
it is good. It's just, you gotta know your audience, and that's what it is.
That's true.
I have a seventh grader. Also,
Didn't
Yes.
care Things. I would get a ding. My husband would get a ding. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was a little too much, but to each his own. So
I have that right now with Slack because we use Slack here at camp. And I'm on 12 different channels and I'm getting dings all day long and like trying to keep up. with it.
what is Slack?
Slack is another like a work platform where you can communicate, but you can like set channels. So I'm part of the leadership team. So I have the leadership team schedules. I have leadership team general. I have leadership team fun. I have all camp schedules. And so it's like all these different channels. And Rabs, are you on it or not yet?
So I actually am. All of us who are part of faculty are also on Slack, but I'm not officially at camp yet, so I don't have it notifying me. But again, with Slack, all these channels can be different groups of people based on who needs to be, hearing a particular communication at a given time.
Right.
Yeah, it's instant messaging.
Right. I-
But you have to have an app, so.
Right.
Right. I would love for any of the parents who are currently on this Zoom, if there are modes of communication that you find are most effective for you, I would love for you to share that with us. Is it email? Is it snail mail? Is it what would be the easiest form for you? And even more, is it computer based? Is it phone based? Or are you savvy enough that either one works? Just a little feedback would be great if we could take like 10 seconds or so.
I
Um,
know.
Go ahead. Yeah.
In our household, it's funny because Dan and I do not like the same form of communication. He's like a huge email person. I am really terrible at checking my email to the point where like he'll like poke me and be like, "You gotta check your email. I got important stuff in there. You need to check it." But I like text messaging or messaging. My phone. If it comes on my phone, I tend to see it more. I feel like everybody's a little bit different. But see, in our household, since I'm more the message to phone person and he's more the email person, it gets to us because no matter how you do it, one of us is going to see it.
One or the other, yeah.
Right.
So,
From the teacher,
For the parents on this Zoom, I'm just wondering, can some of you share what are your kids' teachers in their secular schools using to communicate with you?
In our school,
Jojo and et cetera.
they use Parent Square. They use Parent Square in our school. I have
we just
my
got that
parents-
at our school as well. They now
Yeah.
have parents there. It's like a new
But-
thing at the end of the year. They just got it.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar. We use Parent Square and I'm the tech savvy one in the household. So I'm the one who has to deal with it. My only gripe is that if you're going to use a platform, I don't really care that another child's sick or whatever. It drove me crazy. And that's what, it wasn't the platform. It was that you have to know your audience. It has to be something easy because, you can't fault people. It is.
Alona, is it free? Is it free?
Parent Square?
Yeah.
I'll
I
look
would
it
say probably not. It's gonna be,
The school district probably has to expense that and
yes,
provide
it's a
it to
contract.
the school community. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
WhatsApp, I think, is free, so that was
Which
the
one?
plus. WhatsApp is free, that's why, I mean, as a teacher, it was great, because I could send an email to the whole class. But you're
Yeah.
right, if someone's sick,
Yeah.
and that's a communication thing. If your child's gonna be sick, here's my number, text me directly.
Right.
There's also, I know like in my school, because I work in a school, they use Class Dojo a lot. And I mean, I don't know if that's free. That started, it was free during COVID. I don't know what it is now, but that's been something where I know, like for me, I can message my parents and they can message me back, but they can't message the entire class.
You have
They
to
can
pay
only
for Jojo. You
So
have to-
like, if
have to
they're telling
pay
me
for
like,
Dojo.
my kid is sick today, or I have an issue, please give me a call, they can message me. Nobody else sees that message except me.
But you have to pay for Dojo. It's like Parent
you?
Square.
yeah.
Okay. I
They're
see, I
all
didn't,
cost.
like I said, I have no idea because that end of it, I'm not privy to. I only know they tell me, use this, and that's what I do.
And you should use a platform that most people are familiar with, because if you start with all these new things, you got a lot of parents who are not tech savvy, and then you lose them along the way.
No, definitely. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think there are platforms, I don't know free or not free, but I know that there are platforms out there where you can set it to the parent can only communicate with the teacher. They can't, or the person who's the admin, they can't communicate.
I used Remind. I used to use Remind.
Yes.
for that.
There's another
But
one.
the other
Yeah.
thing was people have to opt in. That was always a struggle for me because if a
Yes.
family didn't opt in, they were never getting my
Mhm.
messages. So
Yeah.
So emails and text messages are the most basic way to communicate.
I agree.
Because you have a lot of parents who just are not tech savvy, and you do lose them along the way. You have parents that never sign up for any of this stuff.
Mhm.
Hi, Lauren. It's Amy. It's good to see you. Welcome to Temple. I'm so excited for
Thank
you.
you.
I was driving home from Zeke. We had visiting day with Bella, so I'm just getting into the house now. But I wanted to extend to you a very hearty welcome
Thank you so much.
to TBE. And as a parent of two religious school kids, we used whatever worked. We did WhatsApp. We used Remind. There was a lot of communication went back and forth, and sometimes I don't know how other people feel, but it was a lot of information, right? So you get information from school, get information from religious school. We want to make sure we didn't lose it all and then we lost it all. So I'm happy to have extra information, but I know that sometimes it's too much
Right.
for others. So whatever works best for you and your teachers is what's going to work best for our school. And we're going to take your guidance on that. But I would say from a parent from TBE, we had Remind in our program. We've had WhatsApp, we've had paper, we've had email, we've had everything and anything, but really it's whatever you're going to choose to go through. The one thing I have to say, and I agree with Alona on this, was there was a lot of messaging going back and forth from parents that the rest of the parents really didn't need to see, right? So
Right.
there was some private messaging. So that was the only critique that I ever had, but the more information, the better off we are. You know, and like someone else, I think Linda had said it on this call, we lose a lot of parents along the way because they're overwhelmed with things at school or they're overwhelmed at home. And, you know, our committee, of which I'm a part of, it's a really hardworking committee, but there's a few of us and we would love to expand that, you know, with whatever support we can give for you and vice versa. We're here to support whatever we can do. So welcome, welcome and enjoy camp.
Okay.
So jealous.
I just had a question. I have a 7th grader. She's being bat mitzvah this year. I just wanted to know, when are they going to know what is required of them, and when will we know what the requirements are for them for the school year?
So I think that's something, I mean, I don't exactly know yet. And I think when Rabs is at camp next week, he and I will really be able to delve more into some of the nitty gritty that, you know, like I'm still learning how the programs work and all of that, and what has been expected of bar and bat mitzvah camp students and what's not. So soon, like once I understand more, I think I'll be able to give you a better answer.
Linda, if I may, are you asking specifically in the realm of bar and bat mitzvah preparation or
No,
requirements?
like requirements if they have to be in, you know, go to temple a certain amount of times, or, you know, whatever the kids are required to do.
So I'll give you just a little bit of background with that. Certainly there was a time when requirements were a part of the process.
Okay.
We have found that our world is a much different place now.
Okay.
So we tend to not speak in terms of requirements,
Okay.
but there are things that we do ask of our kids to complete. And one of the things that happens is for each student who's going through the process with bar and bat mitzvah preparation specifically, it starts with a meeting with me where we lay out all the expectations and all the boxes we're hoping to check. Although one of the things I definitely want to always underscore is that we are not cookie cutter. We don't expect the same from every single student, because we know every student brings a different life experience, a different life situation, different skills, different, you know, variations of on their mental health where they are. So we work with a child and we meet them where they are. So that's, in a way, that's why we don't go, this is required, because the last thing we want to do is go, this is required, and then hit a brick wall.
Okay.
With, of all time, somebody who is a 7th or 8th grader, where the definition of being a middle schooler is hitting brick walls, you know, or not literal, but you hopefully you follow. So that's it. It's not so heavy-handed. It's,
Okay.
we hope that there are all these components of the experience, and we'll go over that with you and with Jordan when the time comes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just asking because there's so much pressure on them going into 7th grade, and just school, there's a big change from 6th to 7th grade, lots
Absolutely.
more academic requirements. So I don't want to overwhelm her. I want her to have, you know, a positive experience this year and feel happy about being there.
I mean, that's my goal for everybody, is like, I don't want to overwhelm these kids. There's so much going on and so much pressure on them. Like, I want them to enjoy coming to Temple and being a part of the community. It's not about like how, you know, how much you master it, and like, you should feel good and not pressured. Well,
I mean,
that's
I find some days, like she'll come home from school and she'll be like, I'm so tired. It's been such a long day. I just like, it's always on like a Tuesday, you know. Sunday she's much better. I can't go home. I'm just exhausted. I can't do another 2 hours of school, you know. And she loves Hebrew school. She's a kid that loves Hebrew school and thrives in Hebrew school. And she has loved being, in the program all these years. But I found this past year in 6th grade when the work got harder and she had tests all the time and finals, it just really overtook her from an emotional standpoint. And then she's asking, I'm asking her to do even more. And there were times where she just couldn't. And she said, I need a mental health day. I just can't go,
Yep.
So I just didn't know if that's going to
fine.
impact her when there are days where, she just can't do it.
No.
I want to add something to that. Linda, my daughter was bat mitzvah this year. My son is being bat mitzvah this coming year. And the religious school committee have talked about this piece frequently, how to really bring our kids back into temple more frequently and how much they enjoy doing things like tefillah and the songs and those
Right.
prayers. We really tried to figure out a way to do it as a non-requirement, but more of like we need your help and support. Come be in temple, come join the services on Friday. We want to see you there. We want to see your faces. So we wanted, Rabbi said, not more of a requirement, but more like an offering, just kind of find a way to bring them in, because I think with COVID, it kind of left everyone outside because we had to be. And now we want to bring everybody in and see those faces and have those kids on the bima and have those kids enjoy being in service. And there's a limited amount of that right now. So that's something religious school committee has really, really been talking about a lot this year. So I'm sure Lauren will find some very creative, joyful ways to work with to make that happen. But that's really something we've talked about every single meeting for a long, long time.
The other problem I find with requirements is, and if you don't do it, what's the consequence? Like, what's the point? We're not going to not have a child become bar bat mitzvah because they didn't do the requirements. We want to encourage it, and it shouldn't be. We want this to be a positive experience.
Yeah.
Very true. It's very
I'll piggyback a little bit to what Amy said in our numerous meetings of the religious school committee, that we want the kids to understand that they can alleviate a lot of their own anxiety about their upcoming bar bat mitzvah service by becoming more comfortable in the sanctuary and coming to Friday night services so that they see it, coming in action, coming to someone else's Saturday morning service, because it's open to almost everyone, unless the family has chosen to have an exclusive family only event, that they can become more comfortable if they come. So that's the feeling that we want to convey to them, as well as 7th grade is an entire school year grade. It doesn't stop just because you've had a February bar bat mitzvah and then you stop coming. So that's the other thing that the religious school committee has talked about, that we want to convey to the kids and the parents, that it's 7th grade is your year-long commitment, just like 7th grade in secular school. You don't stop going when you want to stop going. You go the entire year through May or June. So that's the important thing that we've been talking about this year. I don't know if that helps you, Linda, but those are not our requirements, but kind of the important takeaway messages that we'd like the parents and the kids to really think about this year in 7th grade.
Thanks.
Sure.
Any other thoughts or questions? We could go into a service if everybody likes.
Lauren, very nice to meet you. I got a couple of kids at the Hebrew school. This has been fantastic. Really a true
Thank
pleasure,
you.
and I look forward to working with you. And
Thank you. Look forward to meeting you and your children. Thank you all really for taking the time to join tonight. I'm excited to get started and meet you all in person, and I'm excited to have Brabs at camp in just a few days. So thank you for lending us him as well, because he is definitely a favorite here at camp. So especially for me, but I'm excited. But the kids love him. Everybody will be very excited to see him. So thank you for sharing him.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
For
Thank you
everyone
so
on the call, I just want to let you know, Rabbi did hit the record button. So if you speak to other partners who were not able to be on the call tonight, just let them know that it'll be available for them to watch at their convenience. at our, Rabbi, on our YouTube channel, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that we could definitely do that. Mhm.
Okay,
And also he shared the link for Shalom Learning if you're interested in looking it up and looking at a little bit, learning more about the curriculum. And my email, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
So thank you all for taking the time and meeting this incredible addition to our community. And
Thank
please
you.
do, if you have questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to Lauren, to myself, to Elise, who is actually right there next to me.
She's
I don't know
above,
if she
next
is
to me.
on your screen. But we look forward to an incredible, a really wonderful year. And again, major thanks to the teachers who are with us tonight, who have been such a treasure, and so dedicated to our, to know that we can put our students in their hands. Gives me a lot of hope, a lot of joy, and a lot of, I can sleep at night knowing that we've got good people like that. So
too.
Jen, thank you both.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna reach out to both of you, Jen and Wendy, so I look forward to talking further.
all right, everyone. So we're gonna wrap up for tonight. Thank you all, and hope to see you all at some point soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely
you.
talking with you, Lauren. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you.
Bye.